what do you do when everything you've ever known about something suddenly changes? Fortnite was a very uniquely designed battle royale game. At the time, battle royales were just kind of getting started, and it had this really unique building feature that you could use to basically protect yourself, go on the offensive, do whatever you want to do, but it drastically changes the way a game like this is played. It caught on, and eventually it became the norm until this season. With the start of Chapter 3 Season 2, Epic announced there would be 9 days, the first 9 days of the season, with no building, because the IO had disabled it. Very perfect move to implement this by making it fit with the storyline. The no building mechanic this season has been met with a lot of different critiques. I think it's really enjoyable, and it breathes life into this game. Something new, something different, a different way to approach the game, even if just for a temporary basis, is really, really good. Now, I know there's some hardcore sweats out there saying right now on their keyboard, "Let me get back into my building now, I need to make my 90s crank faster, bruh." And that's a fair argument. I never really see Fortnite fully taking building out of the game, no matter what good things people might have to say about the current stage of the game that we're in with the no building. However, just because in a couple days they're adding building back into the game, doesn't mean it won't be a permanent addition. Quick though, let's talk about this giveaway that I ran on Twitter yesterday. As you can see, I said I'll send a Fortnite gift to one person who makes an original meme about the 7. After the haiku travesty, I was really hoping this would be easier for people. Some of these were pretty dumb, but some of them were actually pretty funny, so props. If you want to get on the wheel to win a Fortnite gift for the next time, make sure you follow me on Twitter. Come on, don't miss out. And here we go. Let's see who gets this victory royale, this epic victory. And it looks like it is my man, Lego. Lego, let me know what you want on Twitter, and let's keep this thing rolling.
Fortnite Battle Pass.
Recently, there have been a lot of data miners and leakers in the community who have done some digging, and they have found some very interesting stuff relating to an LTM for Fortnite that will reportedly keep the no building mechanic as a separate game mode. My initial thought on this is very, very good if true. This is something that I would almost exclusively play. You know, this could be worked in such a way as to be kind of like what Team Rumble is, where Team Rumble is pretty much always there and always available to be played. You definitely, I think, have to do that with this no building mechanic. There have been so many people who have come back and given Fortnite a chance when they hadn't played in forever, in years. And that's exactly the kind of thing they need to keep doing. I don't see why they would want to restrict the way people want to play when there are all sorts of different groups of people who like to play games in different ways, right? Like, that's also why creative is as big as it is, because some people like the normal building, battle royale part of the game. Some people like creative and maps and custom matches and that kind of thing. Some people would prefer to play with no building, and these people existed long before this no building segment of the season even came into play or this LTM was ever discussed. It really does change the game in a drastic way. Instead of running through the open, you're now gonna think twice about that, you know, and tanks are gonna be much more difficult to deal with. Not just tanks, but any vehicle coming to run you over or shoot you. It provides much more of an emphasis in the gameplay on gunfights and gun skill, and are you good enough to hit some shots versus are you good enough to hit shots and build and counter their building at the same time. It creates a more simplistic, more genuine sort of experience coming from the background of a very long time shooter game player. I think it's just absolutely electric, and this news that they are pretty much going to be bringing this LTM into the game is really good. But the one thing that bothers me is this is an LTM. I would hope that they would work it in, like we said, with Team Rumble, where it's always there, and that much remains to be seen. But it sure looks like, even though the building is about to be reinstated here soon, there should be an LTM coming out for no building, which is awesome. The crazy thing is, once you give people a taste of how no building plays in the game, which is what they're doing at the start of this season right now, people are just gonna want it. Like, you know, people who were like, oh yeah, I wish Chapter 1 Season 4 was back. And while I agree with that to a certain extent, the no building is about as close as you're actually ever gonna get back to the OG days of Fortnite. Because back then, nobody knew how to build. Nobody was building the Taj Mahal in 0.3 seconds. Nobody was cranking 90s. If anything, it was just simple building or putting up walls to protect yourself. With this mechanic we have now, we don't even have the simplistic building, so really, it's much different than Chapter 1 Season 4. To recap, not having building enabled is really liberating in a way. Even if it's just for a very short amount of time, it's certainly really fun to be able to play without worrying about building. And you might say, oh, Dr. P, you suck at building. And you're right, I do. And that's why I like this. But, you know, truthfully, I don't have as much time as I used to when I was 15 to play video games and get absolutely cracked at them. I don't want to have to play the game for 8 hours a day just to get the basics of cranking the most incredible 90s you've ever seen. Playing like this is going to attract a lot of players who have my mindset and who are maybe a little bit older. Not to say I'm old, man. Sheesh. Hey, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and letting me know what other lore or Fortnite related topics you'd like me to cover. You know, I really enjoy doing this kind of thing, and I am just getting back into it really on a serious basis, so it's really good to have you guys here, of course, with such insightful information. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter. Shut the door on your way out, and we'll see you later.